Have you ever tried budgeting in the past, but were just never able to make it work for you? Maybe it just was too restrictive or too frustrating, or maybe you just felt like you didn't have the time. In this Money Mastery Live, I'm going to unpack why budgeting alone isn't going to get it done. And more importantly, I'm going to share with you what the missing piece is to help you finally master your money and progress financially. And more importantly, if you stick around to the end, I'm going to provide you with a full in-depth training of exactly what I have used to help hundreds of students over the years master their money. Alrighty, everybody, welcome to August 2025's Money Mastery Live. This month's topic is about why systems are better than budgeting. Okay, and this is a lot that I wanted to unpack with this, but I always like to start these calls with a question for you. In that chat box, give me a yes if you have ever tried budgeting in the past, but for one reason or another was just not able to make it work. You didn't get the results you were looking for. You were getting frustrated. It was spending way too much time. Go ahead and give me a yes in that chat box if that's been you. Perfect. All right, then you guys are definitely on the right call today. Okay, now I want you to understand the stats of the matter here. Okay, you're not alone in feeling this way. 73% of budgeters still feel out of control. Okay, it's not doing the trick. It's not doing what they hoped it would. 50% or more of them ditch the budgeting tools within 90 days. Okay, how many of you guys have started or downloaded an app, set it all up, downloaded a spreadsheet, set it all up, and then within 90 days, we're just not even using it anymore? Throw a yes in that chat box if that's you. 45% of people don't follow through on their financial goals, right? They set a goal and they just kind of don't follow through with it. Okay. 76% of six-figure earners still live paycheck to paycheck. And 62% of high earners still feel financial anxiety. Okay. I do a lot of research when it comes to these different topics, guys, and I like to see where the marketplace is at. And this is a big thing that I see is a lot of people have looked at budgeting or tried budgeting in the past, haven't been able to make it work, and hit what we call in our program the eff-it button, right? And one thing that I really want to tackle today is how do I upgrade from simply budgeting to proven money management systems that work? That's what my case is going to be today, is that budgeting alone is not the problem. Okay, or excuse me, budgeting is not the problem. It's when we're trying to just budget alone that's the problem. Okay, and I'm going to make the case for why setting up systems is what we were looking for. So today's objectives is, again, why budgeting alone isn't getting it done. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Hopefully you guys are going to resonate with some of that, especially those of you who said yes and have tried this once in the past. Okay. 2, we're going to talk about what a system is and why it's different, right? How it is different than just budgeting alone. Okay. And then at the end, I'm going to talk to you about my 4-step cash flow system. Now, obviously, in today's call, we're not going to be able to unpack every detail of that system, but I want to get the ball rolling and showing you what this should look like when it comes to mastering your money. Okay. So let's talk about budgeting is not the problem. Okay. So for those of you who have felt, yes, I've tried budgeting before, I've tried the spreadsheets, I've tried the apps, and it just never worked. Okay. I don't want you to hear today that budgeting is the problem. Okay. Budgeting puts everything down in one place. Okay. That's very helpful to us. Okay. It keeps our numbers in order. We need that. It helps us to see what happened and brings awareness to overspending. These are all valuable things that are part of the process. Okay. But that's exactly the point that I want to make today, is that budgeting is just simply a piece of the process of getting to your financial goals, of mastering your money and being able to reach the financial freedom goal that we all have. Okay. Now, why budgeting falls short. All right, and this is where I want you to use the chat box, that if you have experienced any one of these, I want you to throw a me in the chat box when I go over it. Okay. 1, it leaves you wondering, now what? Okay. For those of you who have filled out the spreadsheets before, downloaded the apps and set them up, how many of you got to a point where you said, okay, now what? All right, I got it all filled out. I got it all put in front of me. Now what do I do? What am I supposed to do with all of this now? Okay. 2, it can't help you project or plan forward, right? Typically, what a budget helps you to do is to look back. Okay. But it's not showing you on, well, what do we need to do in order to hit the goals that we have? Okay. Next, it doesn't guide you through forks in the road. Okay. Put a me in the chat box if you've ever had to make a decision on, should I go this way or should I go that way when it comes to our finances, or just in life that included finances. Okay. A budget, you look at those numbers, you're going to be like, well, it's not really guiding me. It's not really telling me what I should or shouldn't be doing. Okay. Next, it really doesn't do a good job of handling what we call life's curveballs. Okay. Who here has ever had an unexpected expense hit you? Okay. If you're not putting me in the chat box, you're lying to me right now. Okay. All right. A budget's not going to help us to handle that. Right. It doesn't show us how we need to pivot around these unexpected expenses or to be able to handle them. Okay. Next, it doesn't adjust with changes and growth. Okay. One of my big things is like, I really like to speak with people and work with people who are wanting to progress in life. They're wanting to grow. Okay. Another term that I use a lot of in the business world is scaling our growth. Okay. When it comes to our growth in life, hopefully we have careers that we're building up, right? Climbing the corporate ladder, getting promotions, getting raises. If you are a business owner, hopefully we're scaling up that profitability in our business. Okay. And as we grow, we need something that can adjust and grow with us, that can scale with us. Okay. In which we know how to keep it up to date with us. Okay. The last thing here is that it does nothing for consistency. Okay, again, I want to hear from you guys. Put a me in the chat box if, again, you've set up budgets in the past, you've downloaded the apps, whatever it might be, but then staying consistent with any type of plan, the budget really did nothing for you. Okay, I know we have budgeters on this call now. Okay, and if you're watching this recording, put something in the comment section that lets me know that you're in the right spot. Okay, so let's talk about what a system is. Okay, first off, a system needs to be holistic. Okay, and what I mean by this is it needs to check all the boxes, it needs to cover the entire thing. Okay, if we have something in place for our finances, but it doesn't answer the question of life's curveballs, the forks in the road, all those different things, what good is it to us? It's only going to get us so far. Okay. Next is that it needs to be repeatable. Okay. Typically, when it comes to a budget, right, you set it up that one time and then that's it. That's where it leaves you wondering, well, now what? What do I do next? A system needs to be repeatable, that you know always what your next step is in the process. Next, it needs to be flexible. Okay. How many here, put a yes in the chat box if you've ever said to yourself, I don't like budgets because they're too rigid or restrictive? Absolutely. It needs to be flexible, right? It needs to put you in the driver's seat. Now, the numbers are going to hold you accountable. That's important, right? The numbers need to be non-negotiable for us, but we need to be able to know what I call turning the dials and knobs to make it be what we want it to be. Okay. Next is going to be that it needs to be efficient. How many people here gave up on budgeting because it was too time consuming? You told yourself, I just don't have time for this. Yeah. And one thing I want to really make the point of here is that we've already proven that our money is worth our time. Do you know how I know this? How many of you here work at least 1 hour a day to make money? Put a yes in the chat box. Okay, so you've already proven that your finances are worth your time. Okay, and what I want you to understand is that what we do with that income that we produce, is it worth 3 to 5 minutes of our time each day? I think most of you will answer, yeah, of course it is. Okay, but what do we need in order to make it 3 to 5 minutes a day? We need a system that is efficient. Okay, lastly, is effective. Okay, for those of you who ever said, I just don't have time for this, again, like I said, we definitely have time for our money. The reason why you feel like it's not worth your time is because it didn't get you the results you were looking for. Right? If you knew that the time put into managing your money was going to get you the results you were looking for, would you do it? Of course you would. Right? Because it wasn't effective in getting you results, that's what made you hit that eff-it button. Okay. Hopefully, you guys are picking up what I'm putting down now about the difference between budgeting by itself being a piece of the pie, but how what you've been missing up to this point is having a system for managing your money, in which a budget is part of that, but we need a holistic system to keep it moving in the direction we want. Okay. So, again, budgeting versus financial systems. Budgeting helps us to look back on what happened, when a financial system helps us to project forward, right? If you have goals here, it's not simply about, hey, I'm overspending and I need to spend less. That's what budgeting tells us. A system shows us, here's my numbers and here's what I need to do to hit my goals. Okay? Hopefully, you guys are not here because you want to spend less. I doubt that's why you're here, right? I think you're here because you have goals in mind and you want to attack them and be able to actually accomplish them. Okay? Budgeting provides one-time clarity. You set it up, you see what's going on, you have some organization, you have some numbers in front of you. Okay, cool. But then again, that thing comes up again of, okay, now what? All right. A system helps you have a repeatable process. Okay. I'm going to get to this in a sec, but our system that we teach, our 4-step system, is a monthly process that you repeat month after month, year after year, decade after decade. Okay. Next, budgeting breaks under pressure. When you have who here, again, I want to hear from you guys. Put a yes in the chat box. If you've ever had a budget set up, life threw you a curveball and you looked at your budget and you're like, well, this ruins the whole thing and I don't really know what to do next. And so we just kind of let it go. A system helps you to adapt to changes so that we know, hey, life is going to throw us curveballs. It's going to happen. Okay. But because we have a system in place, we know how to adjust and adapt around it. Okay. Last one here. A budget leaves you in a state of constant decision making, as opposed to a system. Okay, I'm gonna share a little bit of this about myself, guys. Why did I create all this? Because my ADHD brain. When I have to make constant decisions all the time, I get overwhelmed and hit the eff-it button. So I wanted to create something in which I could turn my brain off. Okay, I build out a system and I know exactly what I need to do, and I just turn the brain off and do the things. I don't want to have to be thinking and making decisions all day, every day throughout the month. Okay, a system gives you that step by step execution to follow that you know, if I do this, I will get to the result that I'm looking for. Okay, it's a matter of inputs and outputs. So, just to briefly go over my 4-step cash flow system. Some of you on here are students of ours already, so you're going to become, or you already are, very familiar with this system. Some of you might be new to us, okay? Like I said earlier, I'm not going to be able to go into everything about this system, but I wanted to give you a brief overview of how our system works. Okay, so step 1 is getting organized. Okay, this is putting, and I'm going to kind of get out of here and show you guys our actual budget that we use. Now, if you have a question of, hey, you just said that budgeting alone isn't going to cut it, so how come you're showing us a budget? Remember, I'm not here to say there's anything wrong with budgeting. I said simply trying to budget by itself is where we fall short. So if you look at my 4 steps, step 1 and step 2 are where our budget can help us. Steps 3 and step 4 are where a budget will no longer help us and the system kicks in. Okay, so step 1, get organized. Everything about your finances down in one place so that we have a clear picture of it all. Different accounts that we have, different streams of income, different bills and expenses, different types of account boxes that we have. Again, I'm not going to be able to get into all the detail here, but we need a place to get everything organized. Okay, step 2, collect data. We need to know where the flow of money is going. Okay, that is what we have our tracker page for, that we can keep track of our different expenses and know where it's going. Okay, this gives us valuable data on areas that we need to address and look at. Okay, again, it's not a matter of pulling back on spending, it's a matter of putting your priorities in alignment. Right? If you notice, man, I'm spending $700 a month on eating out, but I'm putting nothing towards saving for my future, that's a misalignment. Okay, well, hopefully for you, it's a misalignment, right? We need to be saving and putting aside for our future. That's the whole point of this. Now, step 3, make a plan. This is really where we start stepping away from traditional budgeting and getting into something a little bit more advanced, which is what our system is designed to do. This is our budget page in which it helps us to project forward. Okay, this is where we build our plan for each month, all isolated around the key topic of cash flow. Okay, the single most important aspect of personal finance, and I'll debate any of the gurus about it, is cash flow. Okay. I don't care about all the coolest investment strategies in the world. If you have $0 a month to contribute to any type of investment, your end result is still zero. If we cannot produce cash flow, we go nowhere. Okay. Okay. I'm going to try to calm down. I can go for a whole hour on cash flow. Last step here is stick to the plan. Okay. This is where having a holistic, repeatable process that allows you to adjust comes into play. Okay. Additionally, we talk about a lot of things in our program regarding mindset and inner principles that are also required when it comes to step 4 of sticking to the plan. Okay, we can have all the best systems in the world. If our mindset is not in the right place, or we are not developed the inner principles such as self-control, discipline, things like that, we're not going to stick with this thing. We're not going to see it through. Okay. Some other missing elements of trying to just simply budget alone. Okay. So let's keep rolling, guys. If you are not part of our program, you're not one of our students, and you want to go a little bit deeper on this 4-step system, I want you to scan this QR code, and it's going to take you to a training that I built that goes deeper into all of these 4 steps. Okay. And how our system works and how you can copy and paste it into your finances. Okay. Some other ways that I want to encourage you to get involved, guys. If you're watching this either live here on the call or you're watching the recording and you're at a point where you're like, you know what? I realize that I need help with this. I've tried doing this many times before. I keep hitting that eff-it button and I realize what I'm really missing is support and accountability. And I need to get involved with a community, with a coach, whatever it might be, to finally make this change in my life. Okay. I want you to scan this QR code and book a call with us. Okay. We call this our financial game plan call because we're going to dive into your situation and goals. Okay. We're going to identify the main things that we believe are holding you back so we can get some clarity, quick clarity on this call and give you some good mindset shifts and action items to be able to help make this change as quickly as possible. Okay. And if we do feel like you'd be a good fit to work with us, we'll happily share with you what that might look like. But either way, this is going to be a very valuable call to help you get off to a strong start in this journey. Okay. And if you are new to us, I got some other opportunities I want you to get involved with. I do this Money Mastery live call every single month, and I unpack new topics regarding money mastery. Okay, I want you to join in on the next Money Mastery Live. And if you are wanting to be around other like minded individuals who are working hard to make this change in their life, go ahead and scan this QR code to join our exclusive community. Okay. So, what I want to go through now, and this is for everybody that's live on the call with me. All right. I want you to take a picture of this screenshot. We can come back to it if needed. We're going to go over some discussion questions together. And this is where I really want to challenge you. This is where I get into coach mode a little bit. Okay. Where I want to challenge you to think this through and challenge yourself to actually speak up and share. Okay. Vulnerability is where we're going to make change. Okay. It's where we're going to grow. Okay, so 1, have you ever tried budgeting in the past but weren't able to make it work? We got a whole bunch of yeses in the chat box. So, what I want to hear from you is I want you to share why you think it didn't stick. From your perspective, why do you feel like you hit that eff-it button? Right? Maybe some of the stuff that I talked about today kind of sparked something, but I want to hear from you specifically. Okay, 2, does it make sense why budgeting alone without a holistic system will always fall short? Right? And I'm one of those people, you don't have to BS me, right? If you think that everything I just said was a bunch of, you know what, let me know. I'm happy to go back and forth with you, right? But I want you to share your thoughts on this. I want you to actually digest and process the information. Okay? And 3, if you're not already using our 4-step system, do you plan on watching my training and implementing it? And I want you to be honest. Again, if it's like, nah, I'm good, let me know. I'm okay with that. I'm a big boy. All right. Last message I want before we dive into chatting with one another is I want you guys to remember this. This journey was not meant to do alone. We did a Money Mastery Live a couple months back about the taboo topic of money, right? That nobody talks about money. You're not supposed to tell anybody about it. And I kind of overcome that. Definitely go back and watch that if you have a chance. Okay. I want you to know that this journey was not meant to do alone. It's a horrible way to try to do finance and money. Okay. I want you to stay involved, stay engaged, and let's continue growing together as a community. Okay. All right, guys.